the most of the meat comes in the beginning of this teaching, and I think that it's important because I think it is extremely important for us to understand what we're up against. And in a lot of cases, we are challenged by thoughts and theories, and we're constantly unlearning. That's something that we figure out. We've been now in this walk, on this journey since 2000, so 22 years.
Wow.
2000, 2001. So 21 years. This year makes 21 years. So, but it's still constantly unlearning and relearning. That's because even though that was 21 years ago, man, that is exactly half of my life. That means soon I will enter into being in the walk longer than not being in the walk. But yeah, so if you're doing the math, that makes me 42. But just as much time as was spent putting in and getting all of that stuff, that a lot of it was wrong, and I'm not one of those people that will tell you everything you learn in church, get rid of it, because there are those brews out there.
Yeah.
I'm not one.
That's right.
I'm not going to tell you, you don't need no praise and worship. Oh, you don't need to rejoice. Oh, all you need is the Torah. Oh, you don't need no spirit of the Most High. You don't need none of that. Just learn the Torah. Just be able to fuss and argue with somebody and prove them wrong. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that we learned some things that are foundational that got us here. And now we have to realize that some of it, as I start digging into it, y'all get into a good piece of fish and you start digging into it and you done bit in one of the little tiny bones, you're like, oh, that hurt. Then you start looking a little closer, trying to get rid of them, right? I'm one of them people that can't stand to get them little bones. So I sit there and I will stare and pick everyone out, and good gracious, I just can't stand it. Just can't stand it. But you take the time to get rid of it. Why? Because you want to get rid of the fish? No. You just need to get rid of the bones.
Right.
There was still some meat there. And so we don't need to get rid of everything. But there are some things that we learn that we've got to relearn, and we have to now understand who our teacher is. Understand that the Spirit is our teacher, and the Spirit of truth. We're being led into all truths. Right? And the Torah is the truth. It is the truth. And so that is where we get our understanding. So this message is, and there's some things I'll kind of jump back to give a little bit of things, because there's some stuff that's mixed in with another teaching that I did before I started this particular series. But I'm going to give you as much meat as I can. And if you want to get like the full teaching, there's 3 teachings on our YouTube. You can just put in Public Enemy #1, scroll back, probably about 5-6 years old. So just scroll back through there, and there are all 3 of them are there, as well as the other one, Understanding Defensive Systems. And so understanding this, we have to learn who our enemy is. Any good military strategy will have one of the biggest things present, or they are nothing, and that is intelligence. What's intelligence? The understanding of your enemy. Knowing who your enemy is.
That's right.
Because if you don't have that understanding, your enemy surely does. Which means your enemy will be always playing offense while you are always playing defense.
Come on, sir.
Wow.
And if you're playing defense, you will have no idea where it's coming from, how it's coming. You don't know who's in, who's out, who's where. You know? And so it's important. Intelligence is critically important. Critically important. So understanding our enemy is important. And I think one thing that we've lost a little bit of sight on is who he is, what he is. And so the name of this teaching is Public Enemy #1, Understanding Our Adversary.
Yes.
Understanding our adversary. And so first, let's just begin by looking at what Satan means. Like just the word, we hear Satan all the time. It's actually a Hebrew word. And so, of course, you hear people refer to him as the devil, the adversary. Satan is the word for accuser or adversary. Accuser or adversary. And so it's 3 Hebrew letters you can kind of see right here. The first letter from right to left is sin. That first letter is a sin, and it's a sign of teeth. And so you see, well, there in the back, I was going to point to the board, but back there you kind of see how it's shaped. Well, you can see it here. So it kind of resembles teeth, and that's the sign that's used to represent the sin or the shin, that letter. Okay? And then it's followed in the middle by a tet. The tet is a letter that stands for serpent. And so you have teeth, serpent, and the last letter, that's Sat. So and then the noon is the last letter, which is a sign of seed. Seed. And so this even in that word, him being the accuser or the one that attacks, the adversary, is that the teeth of the serpent is trying to generate seed. He's trying to generate seed. What does that mean? What is seed there to do? Let everything produce after its own kind.
That's right.
He wants to produce after himself, after his own kind. He wants to produce more adversaries. He wants to produce more resistance. And we're going to go into why that is. We're going to go into why that is. And these are the objectives that this teaching looks at. Again, I'm not going to get to all of them, but we'll hit the first 3 for sure. And so it's what or who he is. That's 1. 2 is what is his objective? Like, what is his ultimate goal? What is he trying to accomplish? 3 is what is his authority level? That's important to understand. Very important to understand. And then 4 is where is he? And 5 is what is his future. We'll get a little bit of all of this as we go through, but I'm going to pull out some particulars as we come through this. So let's start by looking at something that's very, very important to understand. We've misunderstood a lot of this for some time, but we're going to use the scripture to help clarify some of this. So here's the first thing we got to understand. Satan is not the opposite and equal of Yahweh.
Come on. Say
He
that
is
again.
not
Say that again.
Absolutely.
the opposite and equal.
Come on.
He's not the evil to Yah's good. He's not the yin to his yang. He's not the up to his down. He's not the black to his white. He's not the equal and opposite. Okay? So, in other words, we can't say, well, everything good comes from Yah and everything evil comes from the devil. That's not how it works. Yahweh created
Everything.
good and evil. He created love, and guess what? Hate. And guess what? He loves, and he hates.
That's right. That's right. That's what he said.
And so, understanding this is a general framework. Again, this is the broadest stroke that I could think, is we sometimes think of, well, it's not the devil, it's God. It's kind of like, the opposite. He's just the opposite of the Most High. And when we do that, we automatically give him way more power than he really has.
Come on now.
We give him way more power than he really has. And one of those ways that we give him more power than he really has comes with the next bullet point, which is he is not omnipresent.
Come on.
Hear me. Satan can't be in more than one place at a time. He can't be in more than one place at a time. He is not Yahweh.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
Come on, sir.
That's right.
He can only be in one place at a time.
At a time.
All right?
Yes.
Now, he is not limited as we are to flesh. He's not limited to flesh. We're going to get deeper into this part, so with the next slide, actually, but I'm going to just give you a little bit step forward preview. Remember that he is a messenger.
That's
Okay?
right. That's right.
He's a created being.
That's right.
When the messengers was created, he was one of those messengers that was created.
That's
He's a created being. So any authority that you see that's given to the messengers, he has. Any authority you see is not given to the messengers, he does not have.
That's right.
So, there is no need for us to make songs to the devil,
I know, right?
telling him about how we want to stomp on his head.
Help us, sir. Help us.
We don't need it.
Help us.
Because if somebody is here, then you can stomp on their head. But if they're not here, what are you really doing?
Stop it.
You can stomp the devil out. You know, he's not physically or spiritually in more than one place at a time.
That's good.
So if he with you,
Uh-oh.
it's some real problems. I'll say it like that. Because what he ain't is one of us. And I will hit on that as well. We got some scriptures coming for you. I'm just kind of setting it up right now. So he's not omnipresent. He can't be in more than one place at a time. He can't be messing somebody's microphones up, and don't want you to preach, so I'm gonna make your microphone scream. It wasn't. It wasn't. And it was just, you got the microphone too close to the speaker, and then that's all it was. It wasn't. I promise you. I promise you. He did. I promise you, he did not flatten your tire this morning. Wanted you to be late to work and took the air out of your tire. I promise you. I promise you, he got bigger fish to fry.
I know, right? I know, right?
Trust me on this one,
Wow.
okay? Trust me. Just trust me. He's not omnipresent. He's not omnipresent. So, think about the Psalms. You don't see David speaking to his enemy. You see him speaking of his enemy.
That's right.
Right? And even David, some of the Psalms he's writing of a physical presence of an enemy. Like his son is trying to take his life. His king is trying to kill him. Like these are really real things. But he had a way of ignoring the problem and going straight to the problem solver.
Wow.
So that's what we got to find ourselves doing. Don't worry about the devil. He's not omnipresent, so he's not here with you. There is no need for us to cast him out.
Wow.
There's no need for us to speak directly to him. Don't speak to him in first person. Because again, if you can talk to him in first person, he there. If he there, there's some real problems. Third, he is not able to see the future. He's a messenger.
Right. Right.
Yahweh reveals future to people who he selects. He can't see the future if you don't want him to see the future. If he doesn't want him to know what's to come, he doesn't know what's coming. Now, he can try to influence the future. He can try to steer, create, manipulate. Absolutely. And remember, he was made with the heavenly hosts.
Come on.
So he's been here the whole time. Guess what? He was here when this was being written. He saw Moshe on that mountain, sweating bullets. Like, why he telling them all that? I done got these people off track, and he trying to go get them back again. So understand, he can't see the future. And then the last one is, guess what, y'all? He's actually not your enemy. He's Yahweh's enemy.
Come on.
He hates you because Yahweh loves you.
That's right. Right.
You're a pawn.
Right.
But Yahweh is his nemesis.
Come on, sir. Come on.
Come on. Come on.
That is who his enemy is. So if I got an enemy, and I know my enemy is ruthless, and I know my enemy is willing to do anything, one of the things they may want to do is get at my what? Family, my children, those who I love, because hurting me isn't just hurting me. And can Satan hurt Yahweh? No.
Absolutely not.
But if he hurts his children, if he gets to his children, he knows that's Yahweh's heart. We are his heart. So he knows that's what he needs to do. Can't get to him. Punch him in the face, it ain't gonna hurt. But let me touch his kids. Let me mess with them. Let me get them off track. Let me make them not love him. All right. So let's begin to look at some scripture that can help us understand better what we're dealing with. So I wanted to choose some times where we can see that, and if I say ha-satan, ha just means the adversary, Again, Satan is a word that means adversary. And so ha-satan will be the adversary. So some things that we see happening when ha-satan is directly involved will help us understand some stuff. We all know the story of Job. Job went through some stuff, right? We all know that. And it was some major stuff that he went through. Major things, major attacks. So it's important, if we want to understand the enemy, to understand it from the scripture's perspective. So this is someplace that we can see the enemy is dealing with man directly, impacting and influencing things to impact that man. And so let's start out by reading first 6. What? Let's see. We'll just read 6 and 7 for now. Yeah, let's check out there. We're going to read the rest a little bit later, but right now let's just start at first chapter of Job, verse 6 and 7. Verse 6 and 7. And it says, "And the day came to be that the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan also came among them." Now, if these are messengers coming, Satan's coming with those messengers, he's well within place, right? He's a messenger. 7. And Satan said to, and Yahweh said to Satan, "From where do you come?" And Satan answered Yahweh and said, "From diligently searching in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." So he's walking up and down in it, searching. What's he searching for? So let's go to 1 Peter chapter 5. We'll come back around to finish up Job, but let's go to 1 Peter chapter 5. And we're going to read verses 8 and 9. 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 8 and 9. All right, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8 says, "Be sober, watch, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Now we know why he said he was walking to and fro. He's seeking someone to devour. Verse 9 says, what? Resist him. Firm in belief, knowing that the same hardships are experienced by your brotherhood in the world. Resist him. Does it say rebuke him? No. Doesn't say rebuke him. It says resist him. We'll come back around to that. Let's go to Revelation 12.
Yeah.
Revelation 12. Revelation 12, verse 9. And it says, and the great dragon was thrown out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who leads all the world astray. He was thrown to the earth, and his messengers, his angels, were thrown out with him. What does that tell us right away? He got some helping hands. So now we understand, okay, well, he's not omnipresent, but he got some helping hands.
Come on. Come on.
Now, I'm learning something about my enemy, right? My adversary, I'm learning something about him. And so let's think of it like this. Think of it like this. I guess I'll use the same example because it works. So I'm going to ask everybody this. Who in this room has ever had a Pepsi product? Everybody?
Don't judge.
Is that all? Me too. So let me get this straight. Everybody in this room has had a Pepsi product. All right, y'all all got smartphones. Somebody tell me the name of the CEO of PepsiCo.
Oh my goodness.
Let's say that loud.
All these smartphones. I'll be doing this in my class, y'all. They be on their phones anyway.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, hey, look
That
this up.
came up
You
before
on your
you
phone.
even put it in.
You want your
Raymond LaGuarta.
LaGuarta? Okay. Raymond LaGuarta. Raymond LaGuarta. Okay, so how many of y'all know Raymond?
Oh.
Let me get this right. All of y'all done had Pepsi products and ain't never met
my goodness.
Raymond. Y'all don't know Ray?
Don't know it.
No, nobody here know Ray. You see how that works?
Wow.
He's the CEO of Pepsi. His job every day when he wakes up is to figure out how to make you want his products.
Right.
But he has never not one time knocked on your door and been like, hey, I got a nice cold Sprite for you. Don't you want to take a sip of this? Has he ever done that?
Nope.
Nope.
But you have drank. Y'all drank Sprite?
Yeah.
Drank Pepsis?
Yeah.
Dr. Pepsi? I mean, is Dr. Pepper one of them? Is it Dr. Pepper or Mr. Pibb? I get mixed up. Dr. Pepper. Diet Coke? Cherry Coke? I mean, well, that's the
Let's
other
go.
one.
That's
That's Atlanta. Okay, my bad.
that's
But what my point is that you see that the influence of that person is felt even though they are not physically there.
Wow.
Why? Because Mr. Raymond has an executive board. He got a C-suite.
You better believe it.
And below them, they got all levels of middle management. And below them, they got all levels of distribution channels and
That's right.
all types of stuff. They on commercials. They on halftime shows.
That's right.
And if Mr. Raymond really trying to get a big deal done, he might knock on the door of you know, let's say Commissioner Stern. You know, he's commissioner for the NBA. He might knock on his door for real. Like, hey.
Not no more. He did.
He died.
Stern did that. Yeah. What am I talking about? Who did that?
I don't know. I don't know his name.
That's right, Adam Silver. Sorry.
Okay.
Commissioner Stern. See, first one come in your head because he is like the commissioner.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, Adam Silver. He might knock on Adam Silver's head. He might knock on Roger Goodell's door. He might knock on, you know, I don't know, CEO of Walmart's door. He might knock on their door for real. Sam been gone for a minute. I know Sam been gone. But what you see is his goal is to get people to eat, you know, drink his product, but he doesn't have to go to your house because there are systems that are set up to impact you. What he needs to do is make his product available to you.
Good teaching.
Wow.
Good teaching.
Yes, sir.
He needs to make his product available to you. So when you go out to eat,
Come on.
they say, we have Pepsi products. What would you like?
That's right. And you know exactly what it is.
Some people, you know, they get smart because, you know, it's like, well, me, again, y'all can probably tell, I don't be keeping up with like which is which. So I just be like, they be like, we have Pepsi products. Be like, can I get a Mr. Pibb? I got cherry Coke. They be like, no, but we do have. So his goal is to make his product available. And so let's keep that in mind as we go. Keep that in mind. You never met him, never seen him, but his impact, his presence is felt because of what his agenda is. And the system that he has created to get to you. He don't have to knock on your door. He comes through your phone, through your TV. He comes to your table when you go out to eat. So let's take a look now at what his objective is. What his objective is. Let's start with Matthew 4. Matthew chapter 4. And we're going to read 1 through 9. Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 9. And it reads, Then Yeshua was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tried by the devil. And after having fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. And the trier came and said to him, If you are the Son of Elohim, first of all, if you are the Son of Elohim, command that these stones become bread. But he answering said, It has been written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Elohim. Verse 5, Then the devil took him up into the set-apart city, set him on the edge of the set-apart place, and said to him, If you don't stop this if word, if you are the Son of Elohim, throw yourself down. For it has been written, since you want to start throwing quotes. Y'all think the devil know the word? He was there when it was written. I told y'all.
Come on.
He was there when it was written. He know it. He lived through it. He done seen it. And it says, He shall command his messengers concerning you. That's Psalms 91:11. I know the word. If you can go to word, I can go to word too. And it says, And in their hands they shall bear you up, so that you do not dash your foot against a stone.
Yeah.
Go on, give it a try. Same sort of approach that he tried to take with Hava, right, with Eve. And in verse 7 says, Yeshua said to him, It has also been written, you shall not try. He quoted Deuteronomy 6:16 to him. Now, he did a couple things there, y'all. He told him who he was. He didn't say, He didn't say, well, you know you shouldn't try him. He said, don't try me. Don't try me. Because the scripture says, you shall not try Yod Hey Vav Hey, your Elohim. Don't try me. Who's speaking here? This is Satan and who? Messiah, right? Yeah. So Messiah just declared himself as Yahweh, your Elohim, right there to Satan.
Hallelujah.
Verse 8, you're going down to 9. Verse 8 says, again the devil took him up on a very high mountain and showed him all the reigns of the world and their esteem, and said to him, all these I shall give you if you fall down and worship me. Whoa. Fall down and worship me? I think we just struck a chord. That's his objective. If you get time, look up the book of Adam and Eve. It's available, free downloads. You can download it and read through it. Certain things you can also put on your phone as apps. You can go to YouTube, look it up, and just listen to it. It's great. But it's something in there in the book of Adam and Eve that reveals some of the backdrop of what's happening and where the enemy has developed this real disdain for man. And where it came in is when Yahweh created man, he took him and he presented him to the heavenly host and says, behold my image, worship my image. Mm-hmm. And Satan said, me worship him? He's but mortal. He's a human. I am great. You have made me above. You have made me wonderful. You want me to worship him? Satan's entire goal from then forward was to place his throne above the Most High's. Because if he places his throne above the Most High's, then you're worshiping him, everybody's worshiping him. Yeah. He wants us to bow to him. He wants to receive that worship. He wants the Most High to worship him. So that's why he is entertaining his best shot at Yahweh in the flesh. And what does he ask him to do? In all of these examples, I'm asking you to bring yourself low. What does he say? What's the first thing he asked him to do? This just hit me, y'all. The first thing he asked him to do is pick up some stones. What you got to do today?
Bow.
Then what's the next thing he told him to do? Throw yourself down.
Right.
And then the next thing he told me, he's just like, let's stop beating around the bush. Let's stop beating around the bush, man. I'll give you all of this if you worship me.
Come on.
Because that was his ultimate goal. Was to get the Most High, who he just was told, you are the Most High. Because he says, the scripture says that you don't try me. Yahweh, your Elohim. And he says, I'm going to try one more time. Worship me. That was his goal. So his objective is to receive worship. Yeah. To receive worship. So let's take a look at his level of authority. Let's look at his level of authority. We're going to go back to Job. And we're going to finish out this conversation to a point. We're not going to go through the whole thing. We're gonna go from 8 to 12 in Job. And it says, chapter 1, by the way, chapter 1, verse 8. And Yahweh said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a perfect and straight man, one who fears Elohim and turns aside from evil? And Satan answered Yahweh and said, is Job fearing Elohim for naught? Have you not made a hedge around him and around his household and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands. and his possessions has increased in the land. But stretch out your hand, please, and strike all that he has, if he would not curse you to your face. And Yahweh said to Satan, see, all that he has is in your hands. Only do not lay a hand on himself. And Satan went out from the presence of Yahweh. Let's stop. Let's pause for a quick second and make some notations. Let's recognize something. Now, remember when we started, what was Satan doing? Walking to and fro, right? Right?
Yep.
And we know that the goal was to see who he might devour, right? Okay. So now, did he find somebody? Who did he find? He found Job. How do you know? Who said it? What did Yahweh ask him? Have you considered? What was Satan's answer? Man, I done tried everything to get that dude. Man, I went to the back door, I went to the side door, I went to the kitchen window, everything was locked down. How you know?
Because he done been there.
He done tried.
Been there. Right.
How you know all my doors locked? You done been jiggling my handles.
Right. Right.
Because all he did was so the question now is, was Yahweh, because this is something else that we sometimes misunderstood, was Yahweh suggesting to Satan that he go and try Job? Because he asked him, he said, have you considered my servant? Was this like where Yahweh was like, I got a test for Job. Hey, Satan, come here. Have you tried Job? Is that what happened? Satan presented himself along with the other messengers. And Yahweh said, what you been up to?
Yeah. What you
Oh, have you considered my servant Job? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did, huh? I know. This was a rhetorical question, y'all.
Right. Right.
We teach that, have you tried my servant? My servant is going to make through this test, so go right ahead. No, that's not what happened. Satan knocked on all the doors, tried to get in, tried to talk to the neighbors around and try to sneak his way. He could not get in. And so when he came, Yahweh said, have you tried my servant Job? Immediately he came with all the intel of everything he tried. How does he know that he has a hedge around all that he owns? How does he know that he has a hedge around his children? How does he know? Because he didn't try.
Right.
He has tried. And so what he then asked of Yahweh was different from what we generally understand there. Yahweh did not suggest Job. Satan was already at it. All right? So that's important to understand as well, because that one tells us that Satan can't go any further than he's allowed.
That's right.
That's true.
He can't go any further than he's allowed. So his level of authority is only that what has been given to him. Now, if it's been given to him, it is different.
It is.
Because when Yahweh removed that hedge, he still put a layer in place. He said, now don't touch him. Don't touch him. But you can touch everything around him. You can touch everything around him. Let's look at Mark 5, talking about the level of authority. Look at Mark 5. Chapter 5, verse 6 through 9. Chapter 5, there we go. All right, chapter 5, verse 6 through 9. And it reads, and seeing Yeshua from a distance, he ran and bowed down to him and having called out with a loud voice, said, What have I done? What have I to do with you, Yeshua, Son of the Most High El? Swear to Elohim not to torture me. For he had said to him, Come out of the man, unclean spirit. And he was asking him, What is your name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, because we are many. My name is Legion, because, did he say my name is Satan?
No.
It says, my name is Legion. We read earlier. Who was sent with Satan? Messengers. That he took messengers with him. There were those who said, I am on your side. And I want to help you fulfill your mission. And those messengers, those demons, those legion, that's who we need to be on the lookout for. Again, remember, we never met Raymond, but we drinking Coca-Cola.
Come on.
Pepsi. See?
Pepsi.
We're drinking Pepsi. I should have just used Coca-Cola. But see, Pepsi's North Carolina company. That's the only reason I picked Pepsi. But there was an important thing to understand when he responded that way. Satan, just as PepsiCo sets up a web to entrap as many people as they possibly can. Remember again, what was the goal? What's Raymond's goal? To make his product available to you. Satan's goal is to make his product available to you. He wants to put it in front of your face. But we have been addressing all of the problems to Satan. So we give him credit for all kinds of stuff that he ain't do, that he ain't here. And so what does that do? Why is that important? It's because we are then fighting the wrong fight. We're fighting the wrong fight. We're playing football, but we didn't realize that it was football.
Right.
We didn't realize that it's not American football. It's everybody else's football, which is soccer. So we're prepared for the wrong fight. So what does being prepared for the wrong fight mean? We're not prepared. It means that we're not prepared. So let's go to 2 Thessalonians real quick. I'm going to start wrapping this up. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians. And it says, verse 1 through 12 is what we're going to read. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, chapter 2, verse 1 through 12. And it reads, As to the coming of our Master Yeshua Messiah and our gathering together to him, we ask you, brothers, not to become easily unsettled in mind or troubled while I was still with you. And now you know what restrains for him to be revealed in his time. For the secret of lawlessness is already at work, only until he who now restrains comes out of the midst. And then the lawless one shall be revealed, whom the master shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and bring to naught with the manifestation of his coming. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power and signs and wonders and falsehood, and with all deceit and unrighteousness in those perishing, because they did not receive the love of the truth, in order for them to be saved. And for this reason, Elohim sends them working of delusion, for them to believe the falsehood, in order that all should be judged who did not believe the truth, but have delighted in unrighteousness. So we see this objective, and we see his marketing plan. His marketing plan is not to send our microphones screaming, or to flatten our tires, or to make us late for work, or to make you spill something on your shirt. His marketing scheme is lawlessness. And it says the secret of lawlessness in verse 7. He's not telling everybody, be lawless, be lawless, be lawless. What are they doing? He set up a system that says, this is how you serve God. Oh, don't worry about that stuff. You don't got to do that. You're no longer under the law. And because you're not under the law, if you even do that thing, then you're saying that the blood of the Messiah is not for you. So, you don't need that. So now this lawlessness, we're missing it. We're missing the lawlessness because we're too busy looking for flattened tires.
Well.
And meanwhile, he's telling us and teaching us and making available to us what? Lawlessness.
Right.
That's what we got to be looking out for. And so now when we get into that, we then say, okay, if the goal is lawlessness,
Come on.
now there's something else involved. He just presenting it to us. When the waitress comes, I'm going to tell you what I say. But when the waitress comes to your table and say, what would you like to drink? And if we have Pepsi products, and you let her know which Pepsi product. Y'all know what my answer is every time? Water with lemon, please. It's the freest drink on your menu.
Yes, it is.
Hallelujah.
And the best part.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
So I say that to say the option can be presented, but it doesn't mean you have to take it.
God.
That's true.
That's good. That's
You
good
have
stuff.
something to do with it.
Right.
You can refuse it, but if you don't even know that's what you're looking for.
Come on now. Come
That's
on.
good stuff.
That's the problem.
If you don't even know that's what you're looking for,
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
did you rebuke? No. When I said water, I didn't say, you got the nerve coming to my table asking me if I'm going to pay for a drink. Get out of here. No, I resisted. I resisted. I think I'm not sure if I even have it in here, but Zechariah 3. Zechariah 3. Somebody get that for me.
Zechariah 3.
3 and 2.
Yeah.
Is it 3 and 2?
Let's see. You can go to, how did I get over there? Go to 2, verse 2.
Verse 2. Yah said unto Satan, Yah rebuked thee, O Satan, even Yah that hath chosen Jerusalem rebuked thee. It is not this a brand plucked out of the fire. Now Joshua was clothed with filthy garments and stood before the angel. And he answered and spake unto those that
That's
stood
good.
before him.
That's good. So did y'all catch that? Who rebuked Satan?
Most
Yeah.
of them.
There's another occasion. I don't have this in here either. I don't know why I didn't put this in here. I think because it's in like part 2 or part 3. But this is important. It was Michael who was going somewhere, and he says, I got held up.
That's right.
I got held up because of Satan.
That's right. He said, Yahweh.
Even Michael
Right.
did not rebuke Satan.
Right.
Michael said, Yahweh rebuke you, Satan.
He sure did.
So the words, I rebuke you, Satan, needs to come all the way out of all of our prayers.
God.
That's right.
We don't have the authority
That's right.
to rebuke Satan.
Come
That's
on
good
now.
stuff, man.
That's right. That's right.
We don't have what is required to rebuke Satan.
Come
That's
on.
good.
Go to Revelation, figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
What does it take to get rid of Satan?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
We don't have that. We resist. No, thank you.
Thank you.
Because now we understand that he is building systems. So when his imps and demons come and present it to us, we resist.
That's good. That's
Hallelujah.
good.
And he said, resist the devil.
You built that.
Yes, sir.
We push away. Why? Because guess what? There are times that the war is really within. How do we avoid WOSD? Y'all know what that is? WOSD. Y'all know what that is? No, I'm kidding. Y'all ain't gonna know what it is because I made it up. But it stands for Weapons of Self-Destruction.
Self-destruction.
Instead of weapons of mass destruction, y'all remember when that was all a big thing? Weapons of mass destruction. What are we looking for? Weapons of mass. WOSD. How do we avoid being weapons of self-destruction?
That's good. That's good.
Part of it is getting out of Yah's way by
That's
what?
it.
Staying in Yah's way. We get out of his way, stop rebuking Satan and trying to do all that. Just stay in his way. He got you. Job, guess what? Don't come out of the place of protection. The hedge is there.
Hallelujah.
Did Job ever come out of that place? He never came out. It got to the point where Satan was like, I can't get to him.
Right.
And that place that we stay is simply in the ways of Yah. Because the lawlessness is what's going to, those systems that are set up to tell us that everything's okay, we walk ourselves right into his establishment. So in this case, we're looking for sin. We're seeking out for sin. We're praying for sin, begging for sin. We're desiring it because we don't realize that it's sin. So I'm not saying that we're doing this on purpose. I'm not. But what I'm saying is, Satan is a deceiver. So just like Raymond got all of this fancy, I work in a college, well, partially. And you would be amazed. I'm starting to see more of it. I've been in the business world for almost 20 years. But now seeing it from this position is different. It's totally different. I'm getting calls from people like, oh yeah, we want to come see you. We want to come talk to your students. We want to I'm getting escorted around, headquarters of buildings and all this kind of stuff. I'm getting pursued by deans of USC. The dean of USC accounting school is like seeking me out, like looking for me. Where's the guy from A&T? Where's the guy from A&T? Oh, can you come in the hallway? I got to talk to you for a second. I'm saying all of that to say there are things that are taking place to create, because then I'm sitting with these corporate heads and they're like, well, what we're trying to do is impact diversity and inclusion, and we've been told that we need to do better. I'm like, oh, you don't have enough black, so you come to the A&T, the Black University. Now I figured out why you're trying to find me and hunt me down and all of this kind of stuff. I say all of that to say there's always a plan. And so, and in that case, it's a good thing that we're trying to do better, right? It's a good thing, and so I get to go to some of my students and be like, yo, the other day I went to one of my students, I said, meet me after class. I sat and called an exec for a company with him on the phone. I said, I'm connecting you guys. I think he's the kind of guy you're looking for. I think you might want to at least let them be one of your options. And so now this conversation can be had, and then we look up and it's like, oh man, we got black executives, we got this, we got that. How is that stuff happening? It's not just it doesn't just happen by itself.
No.
There's a system in place. So now they're going to the university saying, oh, we're going to start grooming now. We'll start pulling you in now. And then we have a bigger pool to pull from.
God.
Which, in other words, we're trying to get all these black people off our backs because y'all talking too much trash. So, but the point is, we have to be aware of what these systems are. We have to be aware of what these systems are. And it's not always that just being moral and ethical is enough. Because lawlessness can look like the utmost
That's right.
in ethics and morals.
That's right. That's right.
It can be lawless is all get out.
Absolutely.
Which simply means it goes against the Torah.
That's right. Absolutely.
It's against the Torah. You can make the fine dining establishments. Do y'all understand, like, the finest dining people think of when they think of fine dining is all shellfish.
Right.
And they will have it beautiful. And you look at the little, I like watching the cooking shows and stuff, and they get the little napkin, clean the plate, and it's all like pretty and, you know, like standing up and da-da-da-da. And they're like, oh, this plate is exquisite. This is enough. This is $110 dish in my restaurant. Blah, 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 blah. But it's unclean.
It's unclean.
God.
Right.
It's lawless, no matter how good it looks, no matter how good it tastes to you.
That's right.
It's lawless. These are systems. So when these systems are set up, we have to recognize it.
We do.
Be ready for it.
That's right.
Be prepared for it. But sometimes understanding that it's not just blame it on Satan makes us deal with ourselves. And sometimes that means we have to answer this question. Are we brave enough to face our own shortcomings?
Oh my.
Oh,
So now that it's not the devil, because y'all, the devil really was on Job's track. What's the rest of the
right.
song? You're on my track,
You're on my
trying to hold me back, whatever the rest of the words to the song is. He was really on Job's track. Job is, what, like 42 chapters or something like that long?
Something like that.
Go through the whole thing. Never, not one time will you ever see Job. Job is racking his brain trying to figure out what's wrong.
Yeah.
Satan really is on his track. And not one time did he ever say,
That's right.
Satan on my track.
That's right. He didn't.
He addressed what? The Most High and himself.
That's right.
He said, I got to be doing something wrong. There's got to be something wrong. What is it? I got to find it. What's going on? Not one time did he blame the devil.
Nope.
So
good.
let's pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Good understanding.
Hallelujah.
So that brings up, next piece is dealing with the old stuff just living in the past. That's a lie. Sometimes we got to bring up the old stuff to deal with it because it's been sitting there. What happens when you bury a seed?
It's going to bring fruit.
It grows.
That's right.
And sometimes we call ourselves, I'm just not dealing, I'm not going to look that way, I'm just, forget about it. Man, all we do is bury it. Now, the systems that have been created are watering it and giving it all the light and nourishment that it needs. And then one day, it sprouts up. And when it does, oh, buddy, it's like crabgrass. Then the next thing you know, you just let it grow to a certain height, cut it, and hope it look like the rest of your grass.
That's it.
Right.
But that's not what the Most High wants. He wants us to deal with it.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
So if we stop looking always for Satan to be the problem, then we can start looking at ourselves. How am I interacting with the systems that he's created? How has this captured my mind? How has this gotten me in a place where I don't recognize lawlessness?
That's good.
The only way we're going to recognize lawlessness is we got to go to the Torah.
That's right.
We got to go to this word. We got
That's
to
it.
read it. We got to take all of the traditions, chuck it, and start over.
Hallelujah.
Because lawlessness is how he wants to get us to the point of worship. That's how he wants to do it. And so I'm gonna go ahead and bring this to a close. I'm gonna just kind of talk through this. If you look at Romans 7, Shaul really lets us know how he sees, and because I try to be careful in using commentary. We use it as history. That's what we want to do. Use it as history because that's what it is. And so I'm not going to say that all of Shaul's words are words of the Most High, because plenty of times that he's just giving his opinion on something.
Right.
But having the thoughts of a man who is well studied in the Torah is important. And so this is Shaul letting us know what he sees as the Torah's role in the battle for our mind. And what he's talking about is, when I want to do good, there's this law. When I'm wanting it, this law is a battle with this other law. Is that Yahweh's law? No. The law of my flesh is at battle with the law of my mind, my spirit. And so there's this struggle inside of me. There's two laws that are struggling. One that wants to do right, and the other that wants to appease itself. We already know if it feels good, looks good, smells good, tastes good, it probably ain't good, because that's just how it works. That's kind of how it works. So don't be fooled by the senses. Be alerted by them and understand, because that Torah is what we need. And it's not always going to look like what the world wants it to. And they're going to look at you and say, "Oh, you just mean, or you too religious, or why you say that? That's just not nice." Wait a minute. That's scripture.
Right.
Might not be nice, but it's scripture.
Right.
We got to stay away from that lawlessness. And so in closing, the question then becomes, which of those laws are leading us? Which one are we feeding into? Which one are we feeding into? Because in Genesis, we see where the problem began. Adam and Eve were exposed to both good and evil. Good and the knowledge of good and evil, which means, and that word, yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, da'at is the word for knowledge, and it's the first letter is door. Dalet is door. The next letter, ayin, is eye, to see, and then the last letter is tav, is a sign or a mark, like X marks the spot. So it's like you open the door and see the sign or see the goal. Now, the problem is, it's both good and evil. How do we distinguish? We can't. We can't use our flesh to figure it out. We can't. We have to rely on the Most High. We have to rely on His Spirit. We have to rely on His Torah. Because if we go according to our feelings,
come on.
Every time the waitress comes before us with that Coke, we're going to take it. We won't resist. And that's what we got to get good at doing. Resisting. Stop the rebuking.
That's right.
Let's resist.
That's right.
Recognize. Know those systems are set up to entrap me. But as long as I stay in this place, in the presence of the Most High, if Satan can get to me, it's only because y'all allowed it.
That's right.
And if He allowed it, I know He still got me. Amen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise y'all.
Hallelujah.
Praise y'all. Any questions, Rabbi and Lori, and anybody? If there's something you want me to go back to, if there's something you want to bring out further.